Tonight, on A Week in League, we'll be talking LPL, LCK, LEC, LCS, Faker lawsuit, T1 disagreeing with the refs, Team Gravitas, and so much more, right after the intro. Welcome to A Week in League, where we cover League of Legends esports all around the globe from all 4 major regions. I'm your host, Slomar, and let's just get right into the news. As usual, timestamps and references will be in the description, and while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks. The FPX win streak has finally come to an end. The team won their first game this week against LNG and then lost the second series against OMG. FPX is currently in 10th place, and with 4 weeks left in the split, I think the team can secure a playoff spot. TES and JDG go 2-0 last week to keep themselves in the top 3. Wayward gets his second Rookie of the Week award. Wayward and Shanji are now tied for the most Rookie of the Week awards this split. Deshai, Tien, Knight, Jackie Love, and Ming are the best of Week 6. V5 lost their first series against WBG this week. Deshai had a very impressive series against V5, it even got him the best of Week 6. And this is also a perfect time to talk about the game of the week, since this week it's V5 against WBG. I know I picked a couple WBG series earlier this year, but this one's legit, trust me. Deshai outplays Rookie 2v1 in an impressive Gnar play. Roll the clip.
Is literally
Four?
right there in the brush.
Oh my god, the Shy just made fun of him. Holy f***. He's gonna die anyway. That's Shy move. Or is he gonna die?
No flash available.
He needs Mega Gnar, please, Mega Gnar. He's out. What?
Shy actually gets
What?
away with it again.
This guy is...
Shut this man down.
Is he gonna go in? What?
He's going for it, man. No
What the f***?
The Shy! 2v1.
He's still going, look!
He doesn't give a monkey's. Now I'm gonna go.
No way.
No way. He gets the double kill. The Shy is
He's insane.
Unbelievable.
He's smurfing so hard. Holy f***.
What a play. The series goes to 3 games, and it's definitely worth a watch. Now let's take a look at the LPL standings. With V5 losing their first series, we now have a top 3 that's very close. V5, TES, and JDG, with RNG, AL, EDG, WBG, LNG, OMG, and FPX to round out the top 10 in the LPL. Let's start talking about T1. T1 goes 2-0 last week, beating out Hanwha Life Esports and DRX. And surprisingly, the other telecom team, KT, also goes 2-0 last week in the LCK. KT's 2-0 last week was enough to get them tied for 5th place, at least for the time being. The team is currently sitting at a 5-5 record after the first round robin in the LCK. Dom1, Kia, and Genji also managed to go 2-0 last week. Perhaps the biggest story from the LCK this week is regarding the in-game pause between Hanwha Life Esports and T1. We'll be covering that in a later segment in other news. Let's talk about Game of the Week. There was only 2 series that went all the way to 3 games. I'm gonna pick the other one that had no pauses, and that's KT versus DRX. If you skip the LCK game this week, you won't be missing much. Let's take a look at the LCK standings. Genji and T1 are in the top 2, Dom1 Kia, LSB, KT, and DRX are tied for 5th place. KDF, NS, HLE, and BRO round out the top 10 in that order. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about G2 and Fnatic going 0-2 last week in the LEC. The 2 teams should be arguably at the top of the standings, at least on paper, but they just had a rough 0-2 week. We'll have to see if this impacts their performance or their chances of getting into playoffs. Rogue and Mad Lions go 2-0 this week, and Misfits continue their 5-game winning streak, also going 2-0 this week. And with all of these results, we have the weirdest looking standings in the LEC in a while. We have Rogue and Mad Lions in 1st and 2nd, a 4-way tie for 3rd place between Excel, Fnatic, Misfits, and Vitality. Astralis and G2 are tied for 7th place, while SK and BDS round out the top 10. G2 in 7th? Misfits in 3rd place? This all appears to be very strange, at least on paper, but it looks like we at least have a very competitive LEC league, with almost all teams taking games off each other in the first round robin. I'm hoping things settle down for the next week or two so we can start to see the top 5 in the LEC. Since we skipped ahead to the standings, let's talk about Game of the Week. And this week's game, it's SK versus XL. SK played a good game against XL, managing to not only snowball the lead, but hold on to it for almost the entire duration of the game. Is SK actually good? I don't know, but they played 2 good games this week. EG is the only team to go 2-0 in the LCS this week, cementing themselves as the #1 team in the LCS. Everyone else in the league went 1-1, and that includes the new TSM roster. I gotta say, I expected this roster to go 0-2 last week, but they've shattered my expectations. They went 1-1. Not only that, but Soul had a great debut talking smack to Fudge and appearing on Hotline League this week. I love seeing some Canadian talent making it onto the LCS stage. EG's Danny managed to snag up Player of the Week. With everyone else going 1-1 in the league, there's not much else to talk about. So let's move on to Game of the Week. And this week, it's TSM versus FlyQuest. Soul had a great game, and Instinct got a pentakill. We'll roll the clip.
It's just something working for them. If he can land a tremendous amount of poke, maybe they have a chance, but it's going to be all about Johnson.
They just got to go, I think. If they try and fight early, that's their best chance.
And they're going to look for Tukui, getting slowed up, got to package around, a lot of spots, big and taken, and Soul drops. One so far, After going to burn the zone, he's packaged it pretty well right now. Disengaged though, and a death onto the support, but he yoinks back, well done. That is the 80 carry gun, Hadida flies in, Zonia's popped, and here we go. It's time for Instinct to go for broke.
No way.
Number 4, give it to him, you better not steal this. The kill comes through in his second ever LCS game. What is it with TSM 80 carry stand-ins and first week pentakills? Instinct seals the deal. The Dragon will drop. Soul is claimed. Baron is claimed. And TSM's first win on this new roster will be claimed as well.
What a fight and what a moment for Instinct there, getting the pentakill here.
Enough said. If you want to see the new TSM roster in action, watch this game. Now let's take a look at the standings. We got EG in first, a 2-way tie in second place between TL and 100 Thieves. CLG and FlyQuest are tied for 4th, C9 and Golden Guardians are tied for 6th, TSM's in 8th place, with Dig and Immortals tied for last. Heading into the second round robin next week, I'm hoping we start to see who the top 5 really is. Clearly EG is a cut above the competition, but TL's been slumping, 100 Thieves is still 100 Thieves, C9 may be good, the CLG hype train has crashed and burned. All aboard the CLG hype train. I don't know, I'm just excited for the top 5 and more importantly, who's making it to Worlds. Welcome to In Other News, where we cover other news that may or may not be related to the scene. This week's headline is, the LCK series between T1 and Hanwha Life Esports was plagued with bugs last week. T1 has officially filed a complaint with Riot Games about how the situation was handled. Game 1 went on without a hitch. Game 2, Gumiyushi noticed that he had the wrong runes about 4 minutes in the game. After a pause, the LCK refs denied a restart. In Game 3, Owner's Smite was bugged, which caused it to be on a much lower cooldown than intended. The game was eventually paused and chrono braked to before the first instance happened. I want to take a step back and just talk about bugs in general. You remember early on in the season we had the trade bug, which made it miserable to watch any games live. That has since been resolved, but there's now a Smite bug, a Rune bug, a Hex Flash bug, and this is all in the current competitive patch. Now, I understand that it's hard to fix the game, and it's easier said than done, but it's been over 10 years and we're still running this spaghetti code. I think it's perhaps time we start thinking about porting League to a different engine, or upgrading the game engine, or doing some fundamental upgrades to the game. These bugs have only gotten worse over League's lifespan, and I suspect that we will encounter more and more as League continues to age. The sooner Riot can get on this, the better it is for all of us. Just my 2 cents. In other news, the LPL Tier 2 League, Development League or Academy League, also known as the LDL, adapts a new draft format called Fearless Draft in Best of Threes. If you're unfamiliar with the term, in Fearless Draft, when the best of 3 goes to game 2 and 3, all champions picked by your team in previous games this series will be unavailable to pick. Now, this is a crazy and exciting change that is definitely favoring a better viewing experience, as it will make for more hype games, more pocket picks, more fringe picks, draft mind games. I don't know, I'm super excited for it. Maybe now we can live in an LS timeline where we have 10 busted champions because we have Fearless mode and you could always get some of these champions into the game. Maybe this just ends up being an experiment and they revert back to normal draft. Either way, this change happened mid-season. Yeah, you don't even have to wait until next split to watch this. You can watch some Fearless Draft right now. Oceania's Team Gravitas is now the only team out of Worlds contention for this year. More information below. In other news, T1 Faker's legal team files criminal lawsuits against people who harassed him online. Now, Korean law works a little bit differently, which is why this headline works, but if you want to read more, information below. In other news, BDS will compete remotely this week since Agresivo has tested positive for COVID-19. Our last story for the night is about the Akali voice line changes, and there has been some community backlash after the voice lines have been changed. One of Riot Games' developers responded and said, they have not dismissed the idea of rolling back the changes, and they will be continuing to listen to community feedback over the coming weeks. If you want to learn more, links in description. And that is the end of our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all the support. Tune in next week for a new episode of A Week in League, where we'll be covering League of Legends esports all around the globe from all 4 major regions. I'm your host, Slomar. Have a good night, and good luck in solo queue.